another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every day, twice a day, wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, where we'll take a look at the NFL Draft, the winners and losers, plus Aaron Rodgers heading over to New York. So that's coming up this week as well, wherever you get your podcasts. Game Source, LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out Ox 1947 in all and everywhere you can at LakersBall.com. He is in everywhere. He's all over as Ox 1947 at LakersBall.com. Plus his company Simblades. You see him touting it right there. Simblades with a Y.com. If you want your lawn transformed into something much more magical than it is today and you live in the SoCal area, it is Simblades with the Y.com. Plus also our good friends, Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet. You can find them always arguing at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out what they're arguing about when it comes to the Lakers. You can do that today, Lakerholics.com. Our good friend, Mr. Magic Man, Sean Grice, the Magic Man in the morning. Check him out every Friday morning. And also for our snack packs right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And the only way you can do that is by subscribing today. Hit that notification bell that's right below so you get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Plus, also, if you can like, share, subscribe, and support any which way you can, the Lakers Fast Break, wherever you can, whether it's podcasts, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can support us. I'll tell you what, it is sincerely appreciated. But the Lakers, it's getting closer and closer, heading into a matchup second round with the Lakers and Warriors tomorrow as we talk. It's Monday now, but it is Tuesday night. The Lakers and Warriors start their 7-game series, second round playoffs, and I know we're excited. Great to have you here. Great to start. The chat is already just really starting to heat up as we speak. The best Lakers chat room that's out there. Everybody's getting excited what is going to go on, but we wanted to go ahead and cover a few things besides the NBA playoffs, which we will actually get to tonight. And a couple of things I wanted to note is there's some weaknesses in either the Golden State Warriors or the Lakers that might prove to be an advantage over another. We'll talk about that because rebounding and turnovers are two keys to the victory for either side. So we'll go ahead and talk about that, plus any other matchups that Mr. Joe Soro wants to talk about that. You know, he's got a lot to say. You can go ahead and check it out here in just a few moments. But the man indeed is here. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out as Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, great to have you here, my friend. I wanted to ask you this again. The things we didn't cover, it seemed like we covered a lot on last night's show. One of the things I did want to cover are potential problems for both the Lakers and the Warriors that they both had over the past few years. With the Lakers, it has been offensive rebounding and turnovers, something also at times which afflicts the Warriors. But as we saw in the Kings series, they actually, with Kevon Looney, did a great job on the offensive boards. In fact, in game 7, I think he got 10 or 11 offensive rebounds alone. That's of great concern to me that the Lakers better go ahead and make sure that they provide a body on him at all times.
There have been lapses in the game where the Lakers make Westbrook-like turnovers and relinquish a lot of offensive rebounds. I'd like to think that those two issues can be solved a little more with getting to the second round and fixing the problems that they've had in the previous round. But it's difficult to say if it's not just us looking at it from a play-by-play basis. That's the thing with being a fan today versus when it was maybe 20 years ago. I think we're so invested in every series, in every play, in every possession, in every minute, and every second of the 48-minute game. We don't know any better other than judging a play by what happens at that particular time. Golden State has major weaknesses that the Lakers have the ability to exploit. One major one being they're they're not really that good at controlling the half court offense. And the Lakers can control the half court offense. One of the reasons why Memphis couldn't get over on us was their inability to effectively score in a half court offense. If the Lakers make turnovers and Golden State goes on runs, much like the one game that Memphis played, the fast break game, which was game 5 in Memphis. If that happens, that's where you can get an advantage over the Lakers. But if you don't do what they did in game 5, you're likely going to have an issue dealing with the Lakers, especially if the role players are kind of doing their part. And that's the thing here. LeBron doesn't have to do everything like he was before the trade at the deadline. Now, if LeBron is kind of kicking it a little bit and playing save your energy game, the Lakers are likely effective. The role players are playing effectively, and AD is a menace to everyone around them in terms of the opposition. I would say, based off history, the Lakers, I'm talking about recent history, Lakers seem to just play this team very well. I don't know why. Just one of those things. And I don't see why it would change in the playoffs. I haven't seen the Warriors really do anything other than rely on Steph, Clay kind of playing good here, good there, and then Draymond just basically being a C minus player. Wiggins, yeah, he's a good player. Gary Payton too, yeah, he's a good player. Looney's obviously doing his thing on offense and getting rebound. I'm sorry, on defense and getting his rebounds, but it's got to be much different trying to get those offensive rebounds when AD is hovering underneath the basket. AD would have won the rebounding title had he played 65 games this year. So AD has the ability to control that part of the game through a 48-minute game. What's going to be interesting to see is if we can get the offense going enough so that we can rest AD and LeBron during the games. That's what we're going to have to wait and see. If not, then LeBron and AD are going to have to play heavy minutes, which can be a 50-50 situation there. They can either win the game or get worn out and lose the game. That one you just can't judge until the game is going.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is NBA Observations. We're talking about, first and foremost for us here as Lakers fans, the Lakers Warriors preview to game 1 of the second round of the NBA playoffs between the Lakers and Warriors. That's coming up tomorrow night. But also here today to talk about the game and also as well the NBA playoffs. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out as MagicMan in the morning. He is that host indeed every Friday morning, plus also as well the snack packs that he does. So greatly appreciated. It is the MagicMan, the madman from Toronto, the guy that did get out of Toronto traffic to go ahead and stop by on tonight's show. It is the MagicMan, Sean Grice. And Sean, great to have you here. I mentioned to Joe one of the first concerns I have that we didn't talk about too much last night, and that was rebounding, particularly offensive rebounding, when we saw Kevon Looney go wild on the Kings, which has been a problem for the Lakers, offensive rebounding, as you and I both know and commented several times on our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Please join us tomorrow, by the way. I wanted to ask you real quick here. The other concern I have, which also plagues the Warriors, and depending on who you talk to, I would say it afflicts them even more, is turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So your thoughts on what the Lakers can do to take advantage of the fact that, I know that the Lakers sometimes it gets ugly with LeBron and AD in the turnover scenario, but as we've seen from what we've
Yes.
over the years with this championship run or this great run by the Warriors, what are your thoughts on the Warriors and the problems that you can actually gain or from them if they have problems with the turnover game as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald. I when you look at the Warriors, they're very smart. They try not to beat themselves.
Oh, they do quite often. They're turnover city in that. Yeah.
In that King series, they were for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's
but-
been a problem. That's one of their Achilles heels over the course of their years in the past 10 years is turnovers. They're
yeah,
they're
but
they're very they're very afflicted by it at times.
Absolutely, but they've been able to overcome that because of their shooting.
Yeah.
Any kind of uh, hole in the dike has been able to be secured by their overabundance of shooting.
For every
Uh,
turnover they get a 3-pointer.
yes, that's the way they sort of approach that matchup. So, Gerald, I would be willing to run Steph off the 3-point line and just let him have floaters and runners. Um, I could live with Jordan Poole killing us because I don't think he can. Um, uh, I think it's incumbent to try and get the ball out of their hands as soon as possible. Really, like you said, Steph's a trucker. He's going to be shooting it probably upwards, probably 35 plus times tomorrow. I would expect, similar to what we saw in the game 7. I just think that took a lot out of him. I don't think he can. I don't think he can duplicate that kind of performance against a better Lakers team.
Mhm.
The Lakers are just a better team than the Kings are. And I just don't see Steph being able to duplicate that kind of performance. I expect him to make the adjustments as well. Uh, but as far as Gerald, we saw what Ham and the coaching staff did in round 1. They were able to limit what Memphis does so well, which is create points off of turnovers and live in the paint. And 2, he was able to relegate them to less than optimal 3-point shooting. I mean, that's not really an option with the Warriors. So, like you said, when they turn the ball over, you have to take advantage of it.
I just think right now, again, to me, the turnovers and also as well the rebounding are going to be keys for both teams. And whoever wins those battles, I think, is ultimately going to win the series. I think the Lakers, Joe, can keep it under control on the turnover end enough. And I also think that you could put enough bodies on Looney to get him off the boards enough for the Lakers to go ahead and get some victories out there.
Well, that's normal. You win the rebounding in a series, you're likely going to win the series. Win the series. I'm not impressed with the Warriors. I haven't been all year. They're terrible on the road. They beat Sacramento twice in Sacramento because, especially the last game, was because Sacramento just can't handle it. They couldn't handle the pressure. They had open shots. They had open lanes. If you watch that game, the Warriors didn't do anything special on defense. Matter of fact, they had massive gaps, massive lanes that Sacramento did not take advantage of, and they didn't really have any players other than for Fox to exploit it. And Fox even struggled. He had 4 fouls in the third quarter, and he had to play tentative after that. It's just I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. We're impressed with Steph Curry because he's one of the greatest players ever. But Klay Thompson is not playing well, and Draymond is not playing well. Wiggins is okay, and Poole is Poole. Not really. He just doesn't scare me at all. Looney is playing very very well, and backing up plays that the Warriors don't make and giving them new life. That obviously has a huge impact in winning because not only do they seem to score after his offensive rebounds, but it devastates the other team, especially in a game that's of that magnitude. And the Lakers in Game 6 against Memphis looked like a team that said, "We are here now, and you have a problem."
What'd you say, Sean?
I said the Denver Nuggets are about to go 2 up
Yeah,
on the
they're up by
Phoenix Suns.
They were leading by 10 with late in the fourth quarter.
And Gerald, I just wanted to point this out. During the Kings series, the Warriors averaged 14.4 turnovers per game. They had 15 in game 1, 20 in game 2, and 18 in game 6. So they lost all 3 games where they had more than 15 turnovers.
And that's exactly what I mean. But
so
if it goes the other way for the Lakers, which it has, that's a problem. But if it goes the way of the Warriors, as far as them committing all the turnovers, they will lose. So again, whoever wins, in my opinion, whoever wins that rebounding battle and the turnover battle, I think will ultimately win.
But that's common sense, though. The thing here is, are the Warriors capable of playing defense the way Memphis did? The Lakers,
I just don't think they have the athletes.
They don't have that. The Lakers played the best defense in the NBA, or at the very.
The Warriors have the best mix of, you're right, Joe, of backcourt and frontcourt athletic defense. Absolutely. Between Triple J and Tillman, and then you add in, well, of course, the absence of Clark Adams, even slimy, clowny Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, John Morant. Yes, that was a very athletic team, very quick, very twitchy. The Warriors are a veteran team now. They don't have the kind of athletes that. To me, it seems like the Warriors might have, if AD's really going, it seems to me the Warriors would have to employ some kind of zone defense, because I don't think they have the kind of athletes.
Well, they don't have the height. They don't have the height and length to bother the Lakers enough under that circumstance. It's only if they're hitting well from outside, that opens up a lot of things for them. But if it's just Curry, like we saw on Game 7, literally carrying the team on his back, and everybody else on the team outside of Kevon Looney really not performing to their level, I think the Lakers can overcome that. And I think that's a different story than what Sacramento has been doing. But I think that if they're clicking from the outside, again, we've seen where the Lakers have also from the outside have not guarded. In fact, this is like many NBA teams. Many NBA teams have this policy of not really defending the outside and letting people shoot threes. I am not sold on that. If team starts out hot, they can sustain it for a period of time where maybe you should try to go ahead and defend a little bit better on the outside. We've talked about that on playback, but I think the Lakers, again, I'm picking them in 6. I think that to me, I think it's something that I think that they will find the matchups which will go ahead and they can exploit the most. If they can make sure that they can keep Looney off the boards enough and make sure that they force enough turnovers, which increases the opportunity for transition for them, which is something the Lakers absolutely rely on. The Warriors don't rely on transition. They actually slowed down the game in Game 7 to where there was only 2 fast break points combined throughout that entire game on Sunday. So
that won't work.
Yeah, exactly, Gerald. That's why I think, that whomever, so the 3 teams left all want to play slow against the Lakers. If they played the Lakers, they would all want to play slow.
And you saw it tonight again with Denver beating Phoenix in a game that was very reminiscent of an Eastern Conference old school type of game. And the Eastern Conference, they're shooting, they're in the 120s almost. So it's kind of weird how this thing is flip-flop. But yeah, that is very old school, slow type of game tonight in Denver.
Yes, and that's the kind of tempo all 3 of these teams would like to play against the Lakers. They don't want to play the way the Lakers played against Memphis, because all 3 of those teams know exactly what will happen if you try and do that.
Well, the thing
with Denver, especially with the way Anthony Davis is playing. Joe has made this point repetitively. Whenever the topic of Joker and AD comes up, he's always saying, well, AD has the Joker's number for some reason. Like, psychologically, when Jokic steps on the floor, AD already has an edge. The ball hasn't even been tipped up, and AD's already won a mental battle against him. So I think that's in play as well. But we saw it tonight. I mean, Phoenix needs to slow the game down if they want to have any chance to advance, and they couldn't do it, Gerald. They had no bench tonight. Their bench was a combined
And,
1 of
and
16 for
and
4
Chris Paul
points.
got hurt. And Chris Paul
Yes.
got hurt, so we don't know the status of him going forward. So I know that's something that Joe talked about the eternal curse for Chris Paul in the playoffs, and it seems to be continuing. But what concerns me, and I don't want to start projecting out as far as let's get the Lakers through the Warriors first before we start
Mm-hmm.
really projecting out. But dang, the Denver Nuggets on that front five, Joe and Sean, they can provide, and some. This is one of the reasons why Joe actually picked them to go a long way originally at the beginning of the season was because they offer a lot. That original starting five offers a lot of length and versatility that not many teams can match.
Yes,
I just said not many teams can
it's
match.
just it's the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a phenomenal team when you look at the spots, when you look at the positional spots. So your point guard, your shooting guard, obviously your center. They check off all the boxes, everything you need in those at those positions. Kind of a traditional lineup of guys that can handle the ball and distribute, guys that can shoot. So you have Jamal Murray, who's perfect point guard, someone who can shoot and someone who can create. You have KCP, who's the classic shooting guard, who, by the way, pretty much put a kibosh on the Suns today. He used that championship ring experience to pretty much put Phoenix in a black hole, so to speak. And then you got Jokic, then you got Porter. Uh, you got a team here that's also played together for a while. That always helps.
Yeah.
That always helps. How that plays out, we're going to hopefully find out here in a couple weeks, at least from a Lakers standpoint. But I am not, for some reason, worried about the Warriors. I don't. The Warriors would have to turn into the '04 Pistons out of nowhere for this to flip. That was probably the only time I can remember in the playoffs where many of us were dead wrong. Everyone assumed in '04, everyone and anyone, even probably Piston fans, thought the Lakers were going to wipe Detroit off the map in '04. They didn't. That was the only time that I can remember where it was a complete just, wow, I didn't see that coming. And no one did. No one else did. The Warriors have not played very well all year. They've played well enough to get to the second round because they have a superstar that is an all-time great, who's still productive, who's still making shots when it matters, making shots in important games. But I saw a Laker team in Game 6 that I hadn't seen since Game 6 of the Finals in 2020. That team shut down at the most important part of the year, and I saw it again 3 years later. At this point, the most important game of the year. When that happens, there's a confidence that builds that this doesn't go away. And it's not going to we can put Steph Curry there. You can put Draymond Green there. You can play Klay Thompson. You can have Steve Kerr as your coach. Doesn't matter. AD. If AD is all day AD, you have a major problem. And then you still have to deal with LeBron on 3 days rest. So good luck. If the Lakers win Game 1 in Golden State, look for them to have just a distinct advantage from there on out and likely winning in 6 at the latest.
And one of the things I want to mention here is, again, Lakers fast break NBA observations. And Magic Man, I want to bring you in on this one, is the fact that the series if you looked at the schedule, day in, day out, basically every other day for this entire series, which would normally concern me, Sean and Joe, because the fact we saw it during the Memphis series, there were times where AD and especially LeBron were gassed. But you're dealing with a lot of veteran players on the Golden State side as well. So, whereas, yes, you have 38-year-old LeBron, but you also have 35-year-old Curry, 30-year-old plus Thompson, Green, et cetera, right on down the line. So, just as the fatigue factor, I think is almost on an even par when it concerns the Lakers and the Warriors, Sean, especially because of the fact that with Joe and as well, I just think that right now, when all things factoring even, I think it's an even board. It's unlike the Memphis series when Memphis was such a younger team than the Los Angeles Lakers in the last round.
Absolutely, Gerald. And Clay's really an old 33.
With those legs, absolutely.
Yes, yeah. So this isn't the the young green around the gills Warriors who can run around the court for 45, 46 minutes and just drive you nuts. They could still be very effective, but like you said, Gerald, there's a lot of veterans on that team too, and and they could get as equally tired and as equally fatigued as the Lakers can if the Lakers want to force the issue and force their style of tempo onto them. Uh, I'm with you. Ordinarily, possibly traveling to the Southwest, to Texas or, like you said, Memphis or New
Or the
Orleans
Denver. Let's
or
say the Denver
Denver.
was every other
Yeah,
day.
yeah, exactly. Right. That would be a little bit more. We've got to tiptoe around this a little bit because it might get a little too edgy. But just I think it's an hour and a half trip, right, Joe?
He
Maybe less
actually,
than
when
that.
LeBron told you in that interview exactly how long it took to get to both Sacramento and Golden State, and knew exactly how many minutes it takes by flying, he was looking forward to the fact that it was just going to go up to Northern California, which is obviously not very much of a problem for him.
Oh, obviously not. No, and obviously he's got it mapped out too. Exactly what
It's
what
one of
the
the
plan
east.
is.
It's one of the easiest flights you can go to is
Yeah.
going from LA to San Francisco. It's one Bloody Mary drink and you're there. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is.
Vegas is a little bit shorter, but
Oh,
still, yeah.
Memphis,
maybe LeBron will have some sangria, Joe.
Memphis,
Yes.
Memphis is going to be the team that relocates to the east once the NBA institutes the Vegas team and the Seattle team. Memphis will be moved to the east because they're way east. They're in Tennessee. So the Lakers not only had to deal with that cross country trip, which is probably why they were dead tired when they got to game 5.
Yeah.
Now they're not going to have to go really anywhere. They're not going to have to go anywhere.
That's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
It's up, yeah. And Lakers fare very well against Denver. They've never lost to Denver. I know there's always a first for everything usually, but they've never lost to Denver in the playoffs.
Well, the Denver,
Well, hold
LA.
on, hold on.
Well,
Every
let me
time,
just say this. The Denver LA thing is a thing in the regular season because they always would make it on a back to back. And that Denver to LA trip is tough for them. But I'm assuming if it's a champion, let's say theoretically, we're not trying to put it ahead of, let's say it is LA and Denver in the conference finals. They're going to space it out enough so where it's not on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I'm
yes,
not as
yes.
concerned.
But
I'm not as concerned.
I will say this. I'll add a footnote to what Mr. Soro just said. What he said is 100% factual. Add to that, the 2 times Denver's made it to the Western Conference Finals because they've never made it to a finals. They've played the Los Angeles Lakers. They're 0-2. In the 2 years the Lakers played the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, they went on to win the NBA championship.
So that's something again to consider right there. But yeah, again, the travel is going to be something I think is an even keel. And Alice mentioned it as well that excuse me, I'm sorry, Jose. Thanks for watching again, Jose. Appreciate it. And Alice as well. just wanted to mention that Jose talked about how, yes, outside LeBron and AD, there are a lot of young players on the Lakers roster, so it should not affect them as much. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break NBA observations. Joe, I want to ask you this, my friend. When it comes to what we're seeing with a matchup as far as how to slow down Curry, everybody's talking in the chat room, the best Lakers chat room that's out there, about Curry, Curry, Curry. He is the key. I'm hoping again it will not be any 45, 50-point game in his barrel that he's got waiting for the Lakers. I'm
I
hoping
hope
that's not
so.
the case.
I hope so, because that means everyone else isn't doing anything. We saw
Well,
what happened when John Morant went Steph Curry, Lakers won. This is a completely different game.
Well, I
Completely
don't mind the
different team.
38 shots, but the fact if he can shoot less than
Funnel
50%.
Steph Curry to the basket and let AD handle it. If he wants to shoot it, if he wants to pass it out to Clay or Poole, we have enough speed for the perimeter guys to catch up to the. I saw it the last two games. I saw it. Even when they lost in Game 5, they never. Memphis just made shots, had the crowd on their side. They were playing lights out. You can't take that away from them. But the Lakers played stout defense. They played with energy. They played with want. In this series in general, and you're gonna have to make shots, Clay and Poole. If those guys go off, it becomes a problem. If they don't, if they play like they did in the Sacramento series, this series is not going to go beyond 6. It's just not. It's just not going to happen. The Lakers will win this series. Golden State has to grab whatever they grabbed in that finals last year against Boston. That's the only way they'll beat the Lakers. And of course, barring any injury.
Now, before Vando was traded to the Lakers, they would often put Reeves on Curry, and that was a recipe for disaster. I love Reeves just as much as you guys do, but as we saw in those games, at times, Sean, Curry made Reeves look stupid.
Wasn't it just one game?
No, I think actually it's 2.
I thought they played 3 times after the trade deadline.
I'm not quite sure on that. We'll go ahead back and check just to make sure.
We'll
go ahead and make sure. But again, it's important. But again, Austin Reeves has not fared well guarding Curry.
No one has fared well guarding.
Well, you know what?
But if Vando can be on a predominant amount of time, beyond the 15 minutes, if he's allowed to be on the floor, remember, because he only played an average about 15 to 20 minutes each and every time against the Memphis Grizzlies. If he's on the floor a little bit more against Curry, that could pose quite a problem.
Here's the advantage there is that, so I think you have 2 of the top 5 players who can defend guards who don't play the guard or wing position in Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis. Yeah, I would say Vando's probably number 1 on that list, and I would probably have AD like somewhere in the middle, like 3 or 4. Anyway, Vando is just he's like a man. Gerald, I really need to go out to California because I really need to see this California condor and its wingspan, because that's what it looks like when Jared Vanderbilt is out there against a guard. It just looks like a California condor just spreading its wings. So I'm with you. I think if you can employ Vando on Curry for anywhere from like 12 to 15 minutes, Bene, Vando's really smart. He can try and help, like Joe was saying, funnel Curry towards the basket and let Poole and Thompson or DiVincenzo beat you from the outside.
Well, I ask you this then, and Zangerstein has a good point. That's why AD has to protect the paint. That's why, Joe, you said the same thing. I think, again, where Reeves, and again, Curry is one of the greatest players on the planet. Let's just put that back out there. That's not a problem as far as, saying that. But if Reeves can stay on Thompson or Poole, Joe or DiVincenzo, he has a definitive advantage on those 3 guys, I believe. I think he has a great advantage on those three guys on both the defensive and offensive end if he can go ahead and stay with those guys.
Make Steph Curry and make Klay Thompson play defense the entire game, especially Klay. He'll struggle. He'll struggle trying to have enough energy, and Klay's having issues. He's having issues with his reconstructive leg.
You can blow by him pretty easily now.
It's there, guys. It's anyone with common sense knows that he would never be the same after those catastrophic injuries. He's done well, about as good as you can, but he's at a disadvantage. And the longer the series go, the harder it gets to get here because the pressure's there, the talent gets better, the desire gets better. The fact that we keep talking about AD and Vanderbilt and Reeves and the guys that are the role players in this, and we don't even mention LeBron hardly. LeBron is going to have a pretty darn good series in this series. He has something to prove. He needs to put a nail in Steph Curry and this Golden State Warrior team without the luxury of having Kevin Durant on it. Because this team cost him. Durant going to Golden State cost him at least one more title. At least. And he a player that great, if you think he's not thinking about that as we're talking right now, then you really don't know about how great players are. LeBron knows what's coming here. They have weathered the biggest storm I've ever seen a team weather and get to this spot. I have never seen this. Never seen a team go from a 13th spot to a 7th spot to a second round spot. And not only that, but look like a championship team in its closeout against the 2 seed. If the Lakers beat Golden State in this series, barring injury, LeBron starts to smell, AD starts to smell it. They're 8 wins after that from winning a title after all that's happened. And to go through Steph and Phoenix or Denver, and then whoever out east, either way, this is going to be another notch where LeBron can argue that he is the greatest player that's ever played. It's unprecedented, just like coming back from a 3-1 deficit against a 73-win team. You have to give LeBron some credit for things that no one else has done. He's been doing some things that no one else has done. In terms of accomplishments, this could be even bigger than the 2016 run. A 7th seed, winning it all, especially if you beat Miami again or Boston. You beat the Sixers for the 6th time in NBA history as a Laker in the finals. I think that'd be kind of cool too. New York, beating New York, that gets so close again. You beat New York. Every story in the East would work if the Lakers get to the finals. We want Boston, though. I would love to get Boston, but they didn't look. Actually, they look good. They just couldn't close it out, which is the problem in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's this is, like I said, when we closed out Game 6, this is the apex of being a fanatic that it's been since, like Game 6 in 2020. It's a great feeling. It's like an overflow of oxytocin from like Laker fans. It's like been building up for so long.
But I want to say,
and there's Gerald, let's be honest, like there's still a hole there that's unfulfilled because they still didn't get their parade. They still didn't get their flowers for 2020. So that's go ahead, Joe.
That is just ding, 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 ding. I know we're gonna sound like greedy a-holes, but God, it's like, can you not? You cannot. After this time say anything to anyone ever again. Ever. You can't say anything about AD being soft. You can't say about LeBron not being whatever to Jordan
they're
again.
still saying it in the chat.
No.
Joe.
This time it's over. This time it's over. There's no. If someone even thinks about it and says it publicly to someone like us in the know, there is no chance of them speaking for more than 5 seconds. You cannot deny anything should the Lakers win it all this year. Nothing. No bubble. No, they're not the greatest. 18 titles. No, LeBron is this and that, and AD is this and that. That all goes out the window. Whether Rob sucking is gone, Genie's not a good owner, none of it. It's gone. They don't have to answer to anything. You want to say that crap, you will look stupid. You will look stupid, and even the dumb people seeing it will call you stupid. There is nothing. There is nothing else you can say. That's the most appealing part about this. It shuts everything down. LeBron comes to LA in 2018 and puts 2 banners this late in his career in the rafters. After watching what the Clippers did, well, I should say what they didn't do. Boston losing in the finals last year. Lakers going up 2-0 in the last 4 years. I mean, come on. What else can you say? LeBron winning 3 championships with 3 different teams, winning finals MVP for 3 of them? What? What are you going to say? What? There's nothing you can say. AD, he's soft. He's a street clothes guy. Yeah, what are you going to say when he's got the second one? What are you going to say? 2 championships in the NBA, 1 in the NCAA, 1 in FIBA, 1 in Olympics. What else are you going to say about Anthony Davis? What? Tell me. He doesn't play enough? Good. He still has this. I mean, really the only thing left for Anthony Davis is to play 65 to 70 games next year. And please, league, give this guy the defensive player of the year. You guys, this is way. Just give him that award. He's the best defensive player in the game. It's not even a question at this point.
I'll say this though, Sean. I've got some bad news for you, my friend. Joe's going to be ready to laugh on this, but he is right. The Lakers did play 3 of the 4 games after the trade deadline, so he is.
So you guys picked on our boy Austin when he only got. And by the way, getting torched by Steph Curry.
It's not embarrassing. It's just a reality.
Being a non-drafted player who's been improving week in and week out. This is how you trash your people.
Well, I'm just telling you again because Zangerstein's saying that Reeves has to guard Curry in the playoffs, and there'll be times where he does. I'm not going to say he's not going to be guarding him. I'm just saying your best matchup is Vando. If you have him in the starting lineup, you want him guarding Reeves. You want him guarding Curry.
If
Reeves,
it ain't,
you could.
if
Reeves, you could.
broke,
I would. Well, let me just finish. You know, if you got Reeves, I understand Wiggins is 6'8", but Reeves against Wiggins is a better matchup for the Lakers than Reeves on Curry. It's just that simple. You're going to have to get away with some minutes on Reeves on Curry. You cannot doubt that. You cannot get away from. But again, if you put the predominant amount of minutes of Reeves on Curry, that's not a very good thing for the Lakers. And I'm just going to say that out front. And I don't think the Lakers would be stupid enough to fall for that. He's not looked good against Curry. Most players don't. But Vando can do different things. Athletic, he's thin. He can get through screens. He can get around screens a lot easier than Reeves. And he can also provide length and height against Curry that can at least bother him a little bit more than what Reeves can do. And there you go. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, Gerald, I was just in agreement with you. I can't add anything further than that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And then Zangerstein saying Vando is not a good screen navigator. I'm like,
yeah, but I mean that's really small in the big scheme of things. There are adjustments to be made there as well. I wouldn't go overboard with that. I just think overall that's going to frustrate Curry more than Reeves. I agree, Gerald. Reeves really didn't frustrate Curry. He didn't. It wasn't as if he wasn't trying to apply as much
But if you could get Reeves,
resistance. Yes,
but if you
but
can get
Vando
Reeves on
is
a
a better
matchup with
matchup.
almost, but if you get a Reeves on a matchup with Clay or Poole, Joe and Sean, I see that as a benefit. I see that as an advantage for the Lakers. That's one
I
thing I want to focus on as well.
No, Gerald, you're correct. I agree with you there. That's kind of like it reminds me of like mimicry in nature. It's I've- it's like watching one of those ocean documentaries, and you see the angular fish in the bottom of the ocean. It's got that like really bright fluorescent light at the top of its head, but yet it's got like serrated teeth, and it's able to lure the prey in. Like it pretends to be prey to get the prey. So I understand what you mean by that, Gerald. Is that if you maybe switch and have Reeves on a Wiggins or a Clay, maybe Golden State falls in love with the idea of it trying to exploit a matchup and sort of not eliminating Curry or not thinking about him, but it's almost as if they're too allured by the idea of somebody else getting going because they think that like the way they work is if one other guy is going and Steph is going, they start to feel confident. So I'm with you, Gerald. If you can contain Curry with Vando and live with Reeves on one of Wiggins, Thompson, or DiVincenzo, and one of those guys eating for a little bit, I'm fine with that, and I think the Lakers would be too.
All you got to do is again try to limit Curry from those easy layups that he always gets, and try to make it as difficult for him as possible on those threes. If you give him clean open looks on threes and clean easy looks to the basket, that could be a problem for the Lakers. But again, the Lakers, like you said, Joe, with AD guarding the paint, that shouldn't be as much a problem, and that shouldn't be as difficult as what we saw, how easy it was for Curry to navigate through the lane like he did so many times against the Kings. There
Wait,
was no rim protection for the Kings. There is for the
that
Lakers.
was a decision that Steph or Steve Kerr recognized rather than be the sniper that he usually is. It was a great adjustment, and I hadn't seen Steph make that kind of an adjustment in a while. He usually sticks to his normal game plan.
Now, Intel, if that's their game plan, I don't think any team can overcome that. As far as Draymond start kicking players in the nuts.
I try to funnel everything to Draymond and see how good he does. He'll kick himself in the nuts at that point. The Warriors, the Warriors could, because they have Steph, they have a championship pedigree. They could break out into an amazing 2022 championship team setup, but they're not playing. They're not playing Jalen Brown and Tatum. They're playing LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis and LeBron James have won a championship together. And not only have they won a championship together, they've dominated in winning that championship many times. You're gonna have to make your shots, Golden State, and you're gonna have to make your shots all four quarters. Because if Game 6 Lakers comes out in this series, you are
Oh,
going to
it's
go.
over.
You're going to go bye bye. And I need to see the Lakers not playing like that to believe that they're not going to play like that.
Because we
Because you
did see
can't
it twice.
you cannot sit there and tell me after watching 6 games against the best defense in the NBA, against the fastest player I've ever seen on the court. Yes, even faster than Michael Jordan, at least after 5 years. Michael Jordan might have been as fast as John Morant his first 5 years in the league, but I was too young to remember that. I only saw it in highlights, and I don't know if that is justified. But they made John Morant look average, and they made everyone else stare. They punked the Punkers, and it was I that's the 180 that happened, at least for me.
Well, I think that's why there's just a mutual respect amongst the competitors in this series, and it's not a lot of trash talking that's needed. They both won championships. They both respect one another. As a matter of fact, everyone on the in our community was giving Kenneth Stone flowers for picking the Lakers at 6, which he did. But actually, Gerald and Joe, it was Draymond who, the day after the play-in on his podcast, was watching film of the Lakers and said, "This will be our next opponent." He called the Lakers Grizzlies series before anybody. So Draymond does know ball. He can't play ball much anymore. He's still an adept passer, especially in the high post, low post area. But yeah, I mean, hell, if we could make Dylan Brooks a volume 3-point shooter, I don't see why there's a game or two where you can't try and lull Draymond Green into being a volume 3-point shooter. He's audacious enough to to believe he can do it because he's done it before, but I don't think he can do it anymore, Gerald.
Well, we'll see what happens. It is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Again, for me, Lakers in 6. Sean, what's your prediction for tomorrow or the
Yeah,
series?
yeah, Gerald, I have the Lakers in 6.
Okay. Joe, you said Lakers in 5 or 6? I think you said 6 when you corrected yourself on, if I'm not mistaken.
You played safe by going 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won in 5, based off what I've seen the last few weeks. As far as what Intel asked, in 2 sentences, what do we have to do to win the next series?
I'll give you 2 letters. A-D.
Okay. For me, it's rebounds and turnovers. Go ahead, Joe.
2 sentences, guys. You don't listen too well.
No, he said it in less than 2 sentences.
Oh, less than 2 sentences. Then maybe I don't read too well. Did he say in 2 sentences?
No, what he said, yeah, in 2 sentences. So yeah, he's actually
maybe I can
actually
read.
Yes, Sean and I are mistaken. So go ahead.
Okay, all right. The Lakers have to play defense like they did in Game 6 and hit their open shots.
Control the boards. Limit.
No.
That's 2 sentences.
No.
What do you mean? That's no. What do you mean? No,
that's too obvious. We know that. Look, you might as well just say.
Asked me for my
you just
opinion.
might as well just say, look, here's Gerald's reasoning. We have to score more points at the end of the game. That's Gerald's reasoning.
No, it's not.
Of course,
control
we
the
know
boards
we're
and
better
the
rebounding. We know that. What do you?
You're like, oh, we have to make our shots. Oh, gee, that's
open shots. There's a difference.
Shot. Oh, that's so much different.
Oh yeah, there is a difference. If you hit your open shots like D'Lo did in Game 6, what happened? We won by 40.
Yeah, Joe. Now it's a run-on sentence, brother.
Well, no, I'm responding to Captain Obvious. We need to rebound and score more points, and then we'll win.
No, there was from South Park. There was Captain Hindsight.
Oh my God, I never heard that. That's funny.
Again, my 2 sentences are there. There's Joe's. What are your 2 sentences again, besides just AD?
Yeah, so true paint protection and on defense, and true paint dominance on offense. I think if you win points in the paint and control the points in the paint on defense, Gerald, I think the formula is pretty simple. We're going to win the series in 6.
Well, if the Lakers limit their turnovers and also control the rebounding, then the Lakers are going to be able to go on transition and get a lot of easy baskets and also get to the free throw line quite a bit, which is what this team thrives on. And if that's the case, I don't see the Lakers losing even one, 2 games. But I'm going to give it benefit of the doubt. So I think the Lakers in 6. So we all predict the Lakers in 6. right here at the Lakers Fast Break. We're truly looking forward to seeing what's happening tomorrow. But before we head on out, I want to go ahead and touch on the other series, the NBA playoff series, which we couldn't get to because we talked for so long on yesterday's program. Sean, I want to hear your thoughts on tonight's Denver victory. I know Joe doesn't seem concerned by it, but I am still thinking Denver, a team that he and I both predicted for great things early at the beginning of the season, as far as at least winning the Western Conference, as far as during the regular season. We weren't sure how they were going to go in the playoffs, but it looks like right now that Denver is going to go ahead and move on. They're up 2-0 on Phoenix. Do you see a comeback in order for Phoenix at all?
You know what, Gerald? Never say never with KD. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to beat them 4 out of 5, though. They were the number one seed for a reason. Asking this team, who's, let's face it, man, they are basically 6, 7 deep at the most, because I don't think Cameron Payne is healthy at all. But he got floor time, Gerald, and he wasn't effective at all. I just don't see Phoenix having any kind of bench play to try and combat Denver's deep team. They stink. They and they're finding out what it's like to be a Laker fan, sort of, in 2021, 2022, when you have to gut your team and live with the results. Yeah, you got KD, but I think they were a second round team anyway, Gerald, with the team they had before they gutted it. So to me, they're in the exact same position they would have been in. I still would have picked Denver if they hadn't made that trade. I still think Denver is a better team than them, even with KD. So yeah, it's possible Phoenix could win 4 out of 5, but I just don't see it.
Joe, any thoughts before we head to the other
Well,
playoff series on Denver and Phoenix?
I predicted Denver would be in the finals in the off season, based off of the fact that the Lakers were not going to compete unless the Westbrook thing was gone. So if the Lakers don't make it out of the second round, I have full confidence that Denver will beat Golden State and go on to the finals and could win it all. They have that kind of team. They have enough chemistry. They have enough good coaching. They have the MVP, current MVP. There's a legitimate chance of them taking it all. However, if the Lakers dominate here against Golden State and barring any injuries, Denver's toast. That prediction goes out the window because LeBron and AD will wreak havoc on that team, and they are in their head. They will be in their head.
You can't let Jokic go for 39 and 16 like he did tonight. That was just,
DeAndre Ayton is his adversary. DeAndre Ayton is a okay player. The Phoenix Suns, when I watched them play, especially with Durant, wasn't Durant just sitting back in the corner like a child in timeout? Like what kind of offense were they running today? Was it just clear out everything for Booker? I felt like KD wasn't even playing today.
They got almost the same amount of shots, though.
It's like the mid-range circus with them. They shot a little more three tonight, but they're allergic to the 3-point line for some reason as a group. I don't know why, because going into the playoffs, that foursome right there, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, KD, and Book, they had something like an ungodly 123 offensive rating, and they had 100 defensive rating. And there were enough possessions in the basket to actually see a sample size. So good on the Clippers for making adjustments to that. And obviously Michael Malone and his staff, Gerald, have taken a look at that film, and they've seen a lot of holes with Phoenix, and they've exploited them badly. I mean, Michael Malone is out coaching Monty Williams in this series. It's not just a talent issue. Michael Malone is the better coach in this series.
I'll tell you what, if we get Memphis series, AD, and again, continuing to play like this, AD can play better than any 4 or 5 in the playoffs that are currently out there. And that it goes for Embiid and that goes for Jokic. He can play at that level. He can be just as dominant, and then he can definitely slow them down if he continues to play with that kind of motivation. So we'll see. But yeah, once again, Denver does win to be 2-0 as that series now heads to Phoenix. Tonight also we saw a Joel Embiid-less 76ers team, Joe, surprise Boston Celtics on their own home floor, 119 to 115 to take an early 1-0 lead.
The Celtics shot 58% from the field and still lost. That had never happened before. It wasn't Boston playing bad. It's just I don't know. This is weird to say, and it's easy for me to say this now because it happened. But as soon as I heard Embiid was out today, I just felt like Harden was going to have his best game of the year. I don't
Similar to
know
what
why.
we
I just
saw
felt
with
it.
was it like the game 2 vibes from the Lakers in that series when Ja Morant was out?
No, because Lakers played terrible in game two. The Celtics
Sean
didn't.
saying yes.
No, because the Celtics played well today. They shot almost 60%.
Good
The,
point.
the, the Sixers played out of their mind today. They played out of their mind and still won in Boston. It's not a good sign.
Boston played with zero defensive focus all night, and it cost them in the end. That was the difference. That they decided they were going to give half-assed effort defensively and just try and beat them offensively because they underestimated Harden. They didn't think that the Houston Harden was alive anymore, Gerald. But somehow the dead rise from the grave tonight, Gerald, and Houston Harden showed up in Beantown.
And
It was
that was a question over the weekend. A lot of these shows were talking about, will Harden ever show up again in great detail as he did before once in the past? Is that Harden still there, or is that Harden a thing of the past? But he shows that on these occasions when, assuming because he cannot be the player he once was most of the time because Joel Embiid is there, I think he comes to realization that when he's not there, he has to step it up. And at least we can see for one game, he can still do just that.
absolutely. But I mean, Gerald, I got to be honest with you. I think if Missoula doesn't make a matchup change and try and put Jaylen Brown on
Well,
James
what was
Harden,
Horford doing on him anyways on that last
yeah, I
shot?
don't. I, yeah, that last sequence would just give you, oh my God, Gerald, you probably want to pound your head into the concrete wall after seeing that if you were Missoula. Um, they need to make some serious adjustments because, Gerald, they might find themselves down 2-0. And then you're going into one of the most vile, venomous, hostile venues in all of North American sports, the city of Philadelphia. And it's likely on Friday, likely that Joel Embiid will be named MVP. So that barn will just be ready to blow the roof off the place. And if Boston finds themselves down 2-0, Gerald, going into that barn, I don't like their chances to come out with a victory.
Not with that Philly crowd, that's for sure. Joe could tell you all about the Philly crowd and how disruptive they can be, especially to a Boston team. If it so happens, Joe, that it gets down 2-0, do you actually see the Boston Celtics, which were the favored team now that Milwaukee lost, if to actually win the NBA championship, do you see them coming back if they are down 2-0?
No, because all Philly has to do is win one game out of the next two at home, and then they're up 3-1, and there's no way Boston is winning three games in a row after that, especially if Embiid gets back. We can't go that route yet. If Boston wins game two, Yeah, they split the two, but Boston can very easily win the next two games and be up 2-1. I'm not there yet on that. We'll wait, I think, a few days on that one. The unpredictability of this playoff should tell everyone that there's no one that's safe. Even Phoenix could come back and win the next two games at home. You don't know. We don't know jack squat. The first, the second, and the third seeds all lost in the same playoff run, both in the East and West. Milwaukee out as the one, Memphis out as the two, Kings out as the three. And then what? Cleveland was four, weren't they? Cleveland was
Yep.
four. The first four, we have two teams, two high seeds from each conference out. First, second, third, and fourth. What's next? What's next? Is Miami going to meet the 8th seed Miami team? Going to meet the 7th seed Lakers in the finals?
I mean, it all depends on Jimmy.
When
Butler's
has that happened? Even the team that went to the finals in '99, the New York Knicks, the 8th seed, that wasn't necessarily It was a lockout season. It was an anomaly. 8 seeds don't go that far. 7 seeds don't go that far.
Wouldn't it be something if he did it on one leg again, Gerald? Like if Jimmy Butler did it on one leg, the symbolism behind that, like you'd have Alonzo Mourning on one side with Jeff Van Gundy holding onto his ankles, and then nearly 25 years later, you have Jimmy Butler basically on one leg dragging Miami to a victory in Game 2 against the Knicks. That would be something else. I think this will be a split, Gerald. I still think this series goes deep. I don't think Miami's going to be able to shorten the series. I think we have to give credit where credit is due. As far as coaches left in the NBA, Spo and Tibbs are the two best defensive coaches. They schematically anyway. Maybe not from an innovative or tactical.
Well, Miami's running out of bodies. They literally.
Yeah. We could, and don't read lips when you saw Spo's reaction when he saw Jimmy go down. But yeah, he's running out of bodies. You're right, Gerald. Spo just he's this amazing mechanic, right, as a coach, because it seems like the Miami Heat team you see between November and February is different than the Heat team you see in February to like April and March and May. So what's interesting is, like you said, the Spo's got a lack of bodies here. So how inventive and creative can you really be?
Well, I'll tell you what, though, it is going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be like a bar fight. I think that, like you said, it's going to go deep on the Miami series. I really think that I think it's going to go 7. I really think that, New York is going to find a way to win Game 2 and is going to go ahead and come back to be something really ugly. I don't know exactly. I think it's a pick 'em right now, but I think it's going 7. But I think it's going to go really deep. But Joe, any thoughts on that Miami series before we head on out, my friend?
If Jimmy Butler can get back to 100%, Miami will win that series, and don't be surprised if they return to the finals after that.
So you got Randall's bad ankle versus Jimmy Butler's bad ankle. It's the ankle series. There you go. Brunson was bad for them from the outside in Game 1. I don't know if you could really count on him being 0 for 7 from behind the arc, too many more times. So we'll see what happens there. But we're looking forward to seeing the Lakers and the Warriors finally get their series started. That'll be taking place tomorrow. Please go ahead and join us, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. It is absolutely free to join us in the chat room. You can watch along with us on the stream. You can go ahead and check it out. Joe and Sean are unfiltered, uncut. And I'm hoping that we'll see a return of Stone Hansen. That is a rumored possibility. I do know for our pregame shows and for our postgame shows, we might get a return of Yami Sweet, aka Jamie Sweet. So that's something to look forward to there. So definitely Looking forward to a great game and obviously a great time here at Lakers Fast Break, but we'll get you prepped tomorrow what's going on with the series beforehand, and we'll definitely go ahead and get you up to speed what happened in the game afterwards. But I'll tell you what, Intel Wild, uh, Zangerstein, Blue Magic, Search and Destroy, everybody that was a part of it, Stell, Jose, great. I'm just telling you, a lot of great people out there. What are you laughing at, Joe, before we head on out?
No, I'm just laughing at our crowd.
Our chat, the best Lakers chat room that's out there, is right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Yes. Yeah, Brandon, I'm sorry. When the Lakers, we heard this before in the last series from individuals such yourself. First off, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe today to get the latest notifications when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. And then thank you for allowing me to do that. But we heard from individuals such as yourself on Twitch, on Facebook, and YouTube. We heard this. We kept hearing this. And what happened? So keep on talking. Absolutely. We love having you part of the chat. But understand this. If the Lakers play like they did against Memphis in that series, you guys don't have a prayer. And you don't have a chance. And we'll leave it at that. But Joe, that's not appropriate. I want you to take that. I'll have to take that off the screen.
His name is Brandon.
Yeah, well, I don't like that correlation. I will take that off the air. So just remove that right there. So I'm not exactly thrilled that you did that. So don't like anything political in there.
His name is Brandon.
I understand that, but you're trying to be sly, and it's not going to get me.
His name is Brandon. I said, let's go, Brandon.
I don't like that at all. I'm sorry. Getting political is not a good thing. I don't want to go
ahead.
And
I don't know what you're talking about. His name's Brandon.
You absolutely know. Believe me, I've seen your Facebook profile. So I will say this right now, though. It is the Lakers Fast Break. Much love to Joe, even though he, MAGA Joe's in the house. I will tell you, though, that it is Lakers Fast Break. We will be providing you a Lakers snack pack beforehand and also a Lakers Fast Break afterwards with the best post game in town. Truly appreciate everyone out there watching and listening. Please, again, subscribe if you have not already to get the latest notifications when we go live on the air. Looking forward to a great game tomorrow, guys. Any last thoughts, Sean, before we head on out?
Go Lakers.
Same thing, Joe, or something
Chuck gave
else?
us the kiss of death. Now I'm worried.
What was that?
He's predicted the Lakers will win the series.
Oh, well.
Who cares what he has to say? He said we were going to We said we were going to conference finals. Then he said
he's a jinx. I don't like jinxes.
Then he said the Kings were going to the conference finals.
Well, most of the shows that I'm hearing today have said the Lakers are going to lose the series as far as that's concerned. So I'm hoping that they can all eat crow after it. What it goes on.
So Joe doesn't have feelings, but he believes in leprechauns and unicorns.
No, I just believe that.
Jinx. You said the jinx. That's you might as well believe in leprechauns and unicorns.
No, because I've been around people who are freaking jinx. I've never seen a unicorn or a leprechaun, at least not a real one.
Well, leprechauns are extinct.
I've seen real life
we all
jinxes.
know that. Leprechauns are extinct now, Joe. We all know that.
I've never seen a leprechaun, but I've seen jinxes in my life. Believe me, I've seen many of them.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching and listening. It is the Lakers Fast Break. Appreciate everyone out there giving us all the love and support. We hit a great high with our highest rated NBA observations yesterday, and we're definitely thanking you enough for your support and looking forward to a great show tomorrow. A couple of great shows tomorrow because I know Sean wants to do a snack pack. He's itching to do us another snack pack, that guy. So go ahead and check him out on the snack pack. Also, a preview for the Lakers game coming up tomorrow night. Join us on playback, and then afterwards, the best post game in town and the best chat room that's around, with some notable exceptions, is right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. What is that face for? My God, man.